Welcome back to Venus Improbable Dream. Okay, that's practice time, but well done on that last one, especially. It's all starting to come together nicely. Everybody wears triumphant expressions, turning to each other and grinning before splitting off for free practice at his signal. As I'm getting my things together, he crosses the room to talk to a group of students who want his help, skirting by the piano with a smile on his face. This piano, is finally being put to good use. Keep up the good work, Akane. As I enter the little practice room, Haruka is waiting there with a quiet smile as always. A smile is quiet nonetheless. Kakeru, you did well again. The whole group sounds better. At this point, I don't even question the fact that Haruka must listen to the club run-throughs while she's practicing her own pieces. I guess it's her way of hearing what progress I've made, if any. Come on, man. Both your teacher and your friend are saying that you've made vast improvements. Kudo-sensei thinks so he must be alright. Yeah, because if he didn't make any progress, he would have pointed out something wrong there. She nods at that statement, and then begins to look a little pensive. Okay, you should give yourself more credit. I agree with that. She comes over embarrassed, looking away for a moment before collecting herself and carrying on. Oh dear, you're doing really well. Thank you, friend. I never imagined that I'd be able to do anything of use in this environment, so hearing both Kudo-sensei and Haruka commend my efforts is both a touching surprise and almost unbelievable. Thanks. I didn't think I'd manage it. That's the absolute truth. And knowing that I can put that assumption to bed somewhat and leave it behind is a strange feeling. Haruka leans her head to the side somewhat as she regards me. Well, now you know that you can. Indeed, you can indeed. You know, you've helped me a lot. I'd probably still be crap if it wasn't for you showing me the library and the CD room and stuff. I felt a bit sheepish, but it needs to be said. She's definitely at least partially responsible for what little I've managed to do. Haruka laughs a little, shrinking backwards slightly in bashfulness, but then recovers herself. I didn't help that much. I'm sure it was mostly you. Although, her cheeks flush a tiny bit before she continues. I don't mind helping out whenever you need it, if there's something I can do. I'm already used to Haruka showing me ways to improve my playing by now, but hearing the offer out loud in such a way somehow feels a little different. I guess it's that friendship thing. She's assuring me that she'll always lend me a hand if I need it. Do we know how to play Air on the G string? I've added it to my collection from the club list, so I might as well start learning it now that I'm getting to grips with the others a bit better. Yes, shall we try it? Sighing in a little disbelief at the fact I'm really committing myself to a music club after all. Yet with an odd sense that it's probably the right thing to do, I stride over to the piano. Okay, what do you realise? Music club takes a lot more concentration than class. I might have damaged my chance of maintaining my slight improvement by depriving myself of sleep. That worries me more than whatever Matsumo Sensei might have us work on today. Maybe I should put a little more effort into whatever I can do to prepare myself, like sleep for example. You always need to maintain a minimal amount of sleep per day. Ooh, what is up? The alert for the text I just got went through my headphones, interrupting the music. Nearly gave me a heart attack, fishing my phone out of my pocket. I consult the screen. He's listening to Air on the G string. Here's from Haruka. Nonplussed, I open it. Morning. Would you like to meet up at lunchtime again? Absolutely. Now this time, let's vary the activities rather than looking for more music sheet and stuff like that. Let us actually go out with lunch with her at school. Follow on with a plan to wait in the stall, and now we're here late. No! I see that she's already standing up there waiting for me. Feeling somewhat guilty, I stride up to her quickly. Hi, Haruka. Kakeru, I haven't kept you waiting, have I? She shakes her head. No, I only just got here, really. That's a relief. Are we reassured, though? Is she only saying that so that it gives us some peace of mind? I'm only kidding. Haruka's smile fades a little, then she moves her gaze down to the floor. You know, if you ever don't want to hang What do you mean? If you ever don't want to hang out, you can just say so. What do you mean? She fiddles with the cane in her hand. If meets up like this, gets it. That's not annoying at all. How could you say that? I start to wonder what brought this on. But then I guess we have gone from seeing each other briefly once a day to twice, and we met up last Saturday too. She might be feeling like she's imposing on me. You're not imposing. No, it's not annoying. It's not annoying at all. There's not a lie to make her feel better. Yes, I'm still an awkward, constantly jittery mess half the time. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to do these things with her. Hang out with her, just talking, you know. Not only does it help me with my club work when we put our focus onto music, but it's also somewhat peaceful. Despite thinking all of this, I'm finding it pretty difficult to put into words without sounding sentimental and weird. You're, well, I mean, it's fine. Nervousness kicking in there. Yeah, that's a total fate. Please don't take offense, Haruka. Okay, as long as you're sure. You can't see the visual embarrassment on my face. Yes, so what do you want to do? She straightens up a little, seeming to want to put the moment behind her as much as I do. I don't mind. You choose. Again, we have these choices. How dare you give us these choices again? And you know what that means? We need to make a save file. We're gonna go eat lunch. Do you want to eat? I'm pretty hungry. My stomach is currently yelling at me to feed it. Yeah, me too. I'm about to turn back towards the stairs and head downward, but then I remember how awkward it is for Haruka to go places she's not familiar with. Perhaps I shouldn't drag her outside to the benches this time. Shall we go wherever you eat? I don't mind. She seems momentarily surprised before nodding. Alright, it's not far. A very quiet hallway, it would seem. It's decently removed from the bustle of the rest of the student body, and there doesn't seem like many people come by here. Not a bad spot. I step behind Haruka as she heads to the end, taking a seat and looking pretty familiar with the layout. I'm guessing she's eaten here for quite a while, like I have with my bench. Similar daily rituals. Yep. I take the seat next to her and the two of us prize our lunches from our bags, eager to tuck in. We eat in silence for a little while, and occasionally a couple of students pass through the main part of the corridor as they exit into the outdoor area. But nobody really glances our way, which is something in which you would prefer, Kakeru. As I'm digging into my meal, Haruka looks towards me. Can I ask you something? Go ahead, sure. She hesitates for a moment, seeming a little nervous, although her face doesn't entirely show it. I was just wondering what you look like. Do not say that question. That is the one feeling which is really putting us off. I'd expect a question like that. I guess it's natural for her to be curious about me that way, since she has no real clue who she's talking to. It must be a weird feeling. Well, I have black hair and brown eyes. I'm not sure whether this is all benefiting her at all, but I keep going. I'm a little bit taller than you, and I guess that's it. I think the height-wise part is something that was already put into place at the start of the game, because Haruka was looking beneath Kakeru's eyes, and then when he informed her that his eyes are a little bit above where her eyes are, she adjusted her eye stance to be able to look at him. Do you have anything else that's noticeable? Apart from the mark beneath my right eye, no. For some reason, my heart feels like it drops into my stomach for a moment. Anything else that's noticeable? Can she read my mind? My palms start to sweat as I try best not to believe that she somehow knows the unfortunate truth that I'm hiding from her. I don't mean to upset you. It was not in my intentions. I swear. Damn it. She can tell how agitated I suddenly got. I just mean like glasses or braces or... Right, of course she did. Normal things. Not disgusting, big, humanid... That word. Yeah, I don't have anything like that. Wanting myself to calm down, I exhale and watch Haruka as she nods again timidly, still looking a little shaken. It's very interesting to see the development of these two and their friendship and getting out of their shells. It's a journey through two people's individualistic experiences in life. Sorry, I just got a bit anxious then. Don't know why. Of course I know why, but I'm not about to reveal it. Thankfully, she seems to accept the way I've tried to play it off. Are you okay? Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm fine. I tried to inject some lightheartedness into my voice and it seems to work. Alright, we'll pull ourselves together going back to our food, and luckily the discomfort of the moment doesn't linger. Unlike previous times where it seemed to linger around. After eating a little longer, she speaks up again. This is probably going to sound really weird, but what do I look like to you? You've got long red hair, pink eyes. You also have a bow on your head as well. My parents have described it to me, but sometimes I wonder if the picture I've tried to make in my head actually looks like me. That was an oddly deep sentence. I bet none of our classmates have conversations like this. I try to appease her and describe her basic appearance. She nods throughout, seeming pensive. That's pretty close to what my parents said. Am I? What? What are you trying to say here? She pauses, seeming to be weighing up whether to continue or not, but eventually decides to. How do I look in comparison to other girls here? Am I thin? Or big? What's with this? Okay, maybe this is a really weird question because most people can see what they look like, so therefore in this situation it's weird but for a completely different reason. I feel like this could turn really sour really quickly if we don't respond. No, you're not big or anything, you look nice. Too slushy, yes, but more confidence in your speech, but also, I mean, you're not too big or small, just in the middle. What do you mean by that? Note to self, I'm not good at complimenting girls. When is a boy good at complimenting girls, for goodness sakes? Haruka doesn't seem too put off by my terrible reply, although I wouldn't blame her in the slightest if she was. Okay, I guess I'm just not sure how I fit in. I'm probably not. You are pretty, come on. Something flashed in her eyes and she immediately backtracked. Sorry, that was a weird thing to say, don't listen to me. She picks up a clump of rice with her chopstick and stuffs it into her mouth, blushing slightly. It must be a very strange thing to have never seen your own reflection and not know how you appear in comparison to everyone else. To me it sounds like heaven, but then Haruka doesn't have a massive tumor on her face, so she has less to worry about it. I'd rather call it a tumor than a Hemano, whatever it would be called. Like, how often do you come across that word in your lifetime and being able to pronounce it as well? You're pretty. Aww. I said it to make her feel better because it's not exactly a lie. Haruka is a nice looking girl. I don't exactly have the best sense of for these things, but there are quite a few girls here that most people would describe as pretty, and I think she's probably... What do you mean, probably? Be sure, it's yes or no, it's not probably. Come on, man. It doesn't stop the moment for being any less embarrassing, though. And I hope she doesn't think I was trying to suggest something by it. Just trying to raise her spirits. Thanks, Kakeru. No problem. The two of us return to our meals once more, my self-esteem even more shredded than it usually is. But at least Haruka has a smile on her face. Thursday, near the weekend, it'll soon be... So I'm trying to put my head into my plane as much as I can. Other than reading over the sheet music and listening to a piece I've gotten so far, I won't be able to practice until Monday. Cursing my choice of instrument in my mind. Yeah, it's not exactly you can carry around like a flute or something. I continue to focus on the task at hand. This is probably going to be our last run through of the group session. The music comes to a crescendo as we hit the final notes, and then dies away softly. Kuro-sensei nods thoughtfully. Alright, that's practice time. You're all getting better, so stay focused and keep doing what you're doing. With that, he departs, heading back towards his desk, and everybody scatters. As usual, I get my things together and head into the smaller practice room where Haruka will be waiting. But there's going to be an intervention there as someone's behind you. Figuring that it's probably just my paranoid imagination, I glance quickly over my shoulder as if to prove it to myself. One of the other club members is lingering expectantly as though waiting to talk to me. I recognize him as the sole trombone player in the group. We've made eye contact, an accidental invitation for him to start a conversation. That is indeed the first cue of a conversation is eye contact. Hey Akane, I know we haven't spoken, but some of us are playing a get-together in the city on Saturday. Okay. He jerks his head towards a small cluster of boys behind him. I guess they're the members he practices with the most, and probably his friends too. We haven't got to know you yet, so you're welcome to join us if you want. This is very unexpected, indeed it is. Up until now, every member of the club, except Haruka of course, has left me to my own device and never paid me any real attention. It seems as though a few of them want this to change now, and I really don't. Not to be rude, but I just don't think I can even attempt to act like a normal, courageous person in a group this large. He seems to notice my hesitation and shoots me a relaxed smile. You don't have to, of course. We just thought it'd be cool to meet you properly. It's just hanging out. No pressure. Just let us know tomorrow. Take your time. He nods casually at me before heading back to his group of friends, despite the fact that he's left me all alone. I still don't feel relieved, and it takes some effort to coerce my limbs to move again. Hi, Kakeru. Haruka greets me as she always does, and I open my mouth to reply, but to my frustration, I'm still feeling somewhat from the encounter I've just had, so my speech is even more compromised than it usually is. What the hell, Flare? Hi. I take a moment to cool off properly, and Haruka seems to sense my agitation. Is everything okay? No, somebody wants to invite me out to a practice session on the weekend. Yeah, just had a weird moment. Okay, a weird moment. To elaborate, please, to put a sense of ease in Haruka's mind. One of the other club members invited me to hang out with him and some others on Saturday, somewhere in the city. She turns over my words in her mind, looking pensive. And you don't want to go? There it is. She knows my gut reaction without me having to say it. I don't think so. It's just really awkward. I trail off, unsure on how to put my thoughts into words. Haruka continues to read my mind as though I'm an open book. Lots of people and an uncomfortable place. Have you ever talked to any of them before? Like, probably only once ever, and that was the time in which they encountered me. I shake my head, so caught up in my own train of thought for a moment that I forgot the stupidity of it. No, I said the odd thing to Kudo-sensei, but no one else. The only person I've actually talked to here is you. I feel like the fact sounds a bit intense when I said it out loud. But if Haruka feels the little pain of embarrassment that I do, she doesn't show it. Well, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't go. I don't feel comfortable with that either. Oh dear, she grimaces as she thinks about that scenario, reminding me that while I consider her to be a little more confident than I am, she's still similar enough to me that the situation would probably freak both of us out almost equally. Then she seems to collect herself somewhat, remembering that these circumstances are mine, and not hers. I get why you're nervous. What'd you tell them? I couldn't say anything. My mouth was frozen. I was too, nervous. She nods, probably understanding exactly what I mean. They asked me to get back to them tomorrow. I guess that gives you time to think about it more then. Indeed that does. I haven't been to many places in the city. I don't like the idea of going somewhere new. As soon as I say this, I realise the accidental connotation behind— Yes! You just did, my man! Like, lots of people, lots of strangers, busy places. They're all places that you don't like going to mentally and physically. And that's something that you did recently with Haruka on last Saturday. I went somewhere new with Haruka when she invited me to the bookstore. The last thing I want is to make it seem like I'm hating the outing. Going to the bookstore was okay though. That's a quiet place. And I didn't mind being with you. Exactly, my face grows hotter with every word. I'm glad she doesn't see temperature on my emotions. I'm glad it wasn't too much. She fidgets with the hem of her blazer for a moment, apparently deep in thought, before she pulls herself back out of it and looks at me again. Well, if you really don't want to go, you could always just tell them that you'll be busy with your parents at the weekend. They'll probably understand. Except I won't be. Yeah, I guess so. It's an easy get-out excuse. Not that it feels good deceiving anyone, but the boys don't know anything about my home life, so I could get away with telling a little white lie. It's something I have to consider properly when I get home. Can we practice? Yeah, let's think about something else rather than the social awkwardness of the previous conversation. Haruka had made a good point. I just tell them I'm busy. To be honest, I don't know why I've not already come to that conclusion. Usually when faced with an uncomfortable scenario, I do everything in my power to nope the hell out of it. Perhaps that part of me harbours a little envy for normal people and their relationships, is jealous of the fun that the guys will probably get up to without me if I don't go. Sinking more deeply into my seat, I try to picture the scene. I walk into the room, wherever it ends up being. There are people everywhere, and inevitably a bunch of them stare at me as I come in. The boys are all crowds around in a group, making it hard for me to butt in. Once we start talking, they all ask me all kinds of questions on the premises of getting to know me. But it's just embarrassing. Playing sports, having girlfriends, all of those subjects I can't talk about because I've never really experienced any of them. My normal nature will just be more and more apparent as the minutes pass, and I'm sure that someone will ask about Hemangioma, however you want to pronounce it at one point. I know I pronounced it correctly in the last episode, but I don't know how to do now. And then I have a panic attack and pass out or something along those lines. That's how I automatically imagine the scenario to play out. However, once I take a moment to play the memory of the invitation back in my head, I remember how considerate the guy had been. He hadn't pushed me for an answer and let me be when he'd seen that I was panicking a little. He also hadn't referenced my face at all. If everyone is as nice as that, then maybe I could give it a go. Jeez, I just don't know. One just don't know, man. So you decided it's been 2 days and you decided to go to where the other club members are in the city. I wonder if your previous choices determine like future outcomes in which it's just played along in the narrative. Like, if we'd spent more time with Haruka at lunch rather than going to the library and then lunch, maybe it would be more of a recurring theme of, nah, I'd rather spend more time with Haruka. 4 of them. Peer pressure? I'm sure they have all good intents. I think it had been that sense of timid jealousy of others' friendships that have done it, combined with the thought that I should probably try to stop being so damn paranoid and just do it. We're meeting at noon at a coffee shop near the City Museum. I'd never heard of it when they mentioned it yesterday, but a quick internet search last night had told me where to find it. Part of me is wanting to just get this over and done with and prove to myself that it won't be as bad as I automatically assume. The other part is currently trying to convince me that I must be mad for even attempting something like this. Taking a deep breath, I force myself to be still and stop pacing for a moment. I'm taking the zipper in my hands, but I can't move it. My fingers won't seem to close around it properly. Trembling too much? What's going on? And why do I feel like I'm running a marathon instead of strolling to a bus stop? Nervousness? Anxiousness? Something along those lines? Oh no. I know what this is. The adrenaline of my attempt to stick to my decision of going to the city had muted the signs somewhat, but now that I'm noticing them properly, I realise I'm starting to have a panic attack. Okay, no need to freak out. Let's just take some deep breaths and keep going. I'm sure that once I get there and see how friendly the guys really are, I'll feel better. That's what I tell myself as I continue forging my way towards the bus stop. More slowly this time, regulating my breathing as much as I can while fumbling with my zip, although I still can't undo it. I try to keep myself as calm as I can, but my body just isn't listening to me. I can feel the panic level rising with every step I take. Swallowing roughly, I do my utmost to put my building fear behind me and just walk, but I'm forced to stop for a moment and lower my head a little, coming over uncomfortably dizzy. Ouch, and your vision clouding. I brace my hands against my bent knees and pray for some of the blood to rush back into my head. I must look like a complete waste to anyone who can see me right now, like I'm about to throw up on the ground or something. Come on, just let it pass. I don't need this right now. Just let me do this. With what feels like way more effort than is necessary, I hold myself back upwards and start walking again, in the dire hope that if I just keep moving, this will all blow over. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. But a sharp pain barrels from my chest and it halts me in my tracks as if someone had physically punched me. I know that this is all part of having a panic attack, and it's not a life-threatening situation, but still, it is not nice at all. It feels like I'm about to die. An awkward, anguished groan escapes me as I stumble, my hand grasping over my shirt, over the pain, and my vision dips again. When it levels out slightly, I realise I'm on my knees in the street. The bus stop I'd been walking towards isn't on the main road, so I'm not among the busiest throng of people right now. I'm not sure if I want anyone to come and help me or not, but the area must be pretty quiet as nobody comes running to my aid. My chest muscles screaming. I flail slightly in an attempt to stand up. My ears filled with the alarming rasp of my mouth, repeatedly sucking air in and out at a rapid pace as I hyperventilate. Why? Why does this have to happen? Can't I just function like a regular person for once? Swaying like a drunkard, I finally drag myself to my feet, trying to get some sense of direction. My brain fights with itself over what to do. The club members will soon be waiting for me, wondering why I haven't shown up. If I could just calm down, I could. No, I can't. Not now. With all the strength I have left in my body, I turn around and stagger down the street defeatedly, not towards a bus stop, but back towards my house. Ouch, it seems to take me an age, half crawling and wheezing like a dying man, but I eventually make it back home. I lunge through the door, forgetting to remove my shoes as I enter the lounge. Oh my gosh. And they are deeply concerned. Immediately my parents come dashing into the room. I guess the noise I'd made combined with the hyperventilating must have alerted them to the fact that this is no ordinary circumstance. Kakeru, are you alright? What happened? I'm unable to summon the strength to reply, though I feel as though it's obvious enough. I freaked out. You're not a pathetic loser, man, and couldn't go through with it. Raising a hand in some sort of half-hearted not now gesture, I brush her off guiltily. Just wants to make it to my bed before I actually lose consciousness. Thankfully, it seems as though Dad understands. Just let him be. Okay, he puts a hand on Mom's shoulder and she relents, although I can tell that she's not happy about it. But Dad seems very understanding of the situation, while the Mom's a bit more forceful. Not forceful, but a bit more approaching. As I lean over to drop it onto the floor, I feel something dig into my side uncomfortably. Ah, my phone! I reach out of my pocket to stop it jabbing me, and not having any strength left to get up and put it on my desk, I just lay there limply, keeping it in my hand. He's laying on his bed right now, totally worn out, waiting for my body to stop raging and calm down. But it's taking a while. Is there anything I can do to speed this up? I become aware of the phone in my hand again, and the idea comes to me. I'm at my most calm when I'm here in my room, but since it's not helping much right now, I'll try to simulate the place I tend to be next calmest. Fumbling at my phone clumsily, I find the music folder and hit the first track that appears. Thanks to the alphabetical order that the phone automatically sorts everything in, it happens to be Air on the G-String. When I'm not here, the most relaxing place I can be is either the music club's little practice room or the CD room in the library. They're the places in which I can let my guard down somewhat. I'm still not entirely sure how this friendship has happened, but what I do know is that Haruka seems to be someone that I feel like I can speak to, even if I'm not always comfortable spelling everything out. This friendship was forged thanks to an accidental intervention of you being curious about music notes from another room outside of the main room. With that in mind, I reach out for my phone again, searching out our last text conversation, hovering over the keys with my thumbs. Shall I? For whatever reason, I give in and tap out a message. I didn't meet up with the guys yesterday. Yikes. Okay, it's sent. I finish up the last crumbs of bread from a pound packet, and only a minute later I get a response. Okay, what changed your mind? A panic attack. Oh dear. For a moment, I considered fobbing her off with some excuse, but then that would defeat the whole point of texting her. I shouldn't lie to save what little pride I have. The keys make quiet, bleeping noises as I type. I had a panic attack on the way to the bus stop and had to go back home. It's even more degrading to write it out like this, but I gulped my discomfort down and sent it. She must have her phone easily at hand because her reply comes out through pretty fast. Yikes, sorry Kakeru, these things happen. I might have done the same. She gets it. For a moment, I'd almost regretted telling her in the first place, but now I realise that she's never going to judge me for something like this. Best of all, because it's a symbiotic theme that you have in common. You both don't like loud places, you don't like loud people, you don't like lots of people. I sent another message back telling her that I feel bad for disappointing the club members by not showing up, and that they must have waited for me. Don't you have any of their numbers? I unfortunately do not. No, I couldn't warn them that I wasn't coming. That's almost the worst part. They must have speculated all kinds of reasons for why I bailed on them, and I really hope that they don't think it's personal. I'm sure they understand. I'll have to say sorry to their faces tomorrow. I wouldn't have worded it like that, but okay. A tingle of nerves shoots down my spine as I send up that follow-up message. I'm really not looking forward to that. That's not great. Maybe you could just tell them that you got sick? I guess it might be an easier explanation. Yeah, you got a panic attack along the way. It's not that you chickened out, it's just that you had a panic attack. Well, I say that, it's not just that. You had a panic attack. It's not the same, but maybe you and I could do something outside of school again. That would be a nice change of pace. I hadn't expected that. I'd accompanied Haruka to the city bookstore to help her find something once, but we haven't just hung out for the sake of it at the weekend. It's considerate of her to offer to replace my last day out with one I might be able to manage. Before I could type out a reply, another message comes zooming in. We don't have to, if we don't want. Just an idea. Though it's hard to convey someone's tone of voice via text. That's why we have emojis. I get the idea that she might have thought she was a bit presumptuous, mildly amused. I can picture her flustered expression in my mind's eye. I put her mind at ease. That might be good, but maybe in a while. I need to recover my nerve before trying to go somewhere other than school again. Totally. Forget about it for now. Thankfully, she seems to have understood the reason behind my hesitance. Feeling bad for having taken up her free time, I shoot her one last message. Thanks. I'll leave you alone now. Come on, Dad. You know, your mom and I would still like to meet Miss Haruka. She seems to have helped you out a lot. I feel like any small victories of mine have been rendered entirely pointless after the absolute debacle that was yesterday. But I guess my parents see Haruka as a good influence on me, or something along those lines. She is the first friend I've just about managed to make in, well, forever, really. However, the matter of her being comfortable with coming to my house or something equally as awkward is another matter. Yeah, I admit the word as a lousy excuse to try to move a conversation along, when wanting to get out of it anyway. I don't usually talk to either of my parents with this on. Ouch. Okay folks, we're going to end it off from this point here. I think she also just misses me. As a mother, I'm more like a random lodger in this house these days rather than her son. The thought fills me with shame, but at the same time, I'm left with a slightly warm feeling from what Dad just said. Okay, yeah, the mother in this equation is a more hands-on person, like she would rather come face to face with what is in a dire situation rather than just standing back from afar and just assuming what could be the case. Although the dad is very accurate, pointing out stuff that is concrete. I'm just going to say this right now, and this is something that I feel at times as well with my parents, is that I sometimes feel like I'm just an unnecessary burden at times. Like, I feel like I'm not a person who has a full-time job, so I'm not inputting anything into the household as per se, and at times I just feel like I'm only a person who uses up resources rather than provides anything for the family. And it's, for me, it's still a means of what do I want to do in life and stuff like that, and feeling like I am a burden rather than something that is not a burden. Even though they say that I'm not a burden, I still feel like inside my heart that I feel like I am one. But I know deep inside I'm not, but part of me always tells me that I am, in a ways. And it's just one of those gut feelings that is very, very difficult to extract the longer that you feel like you're in that phase. And then people say, well, why don't you speak out about it? And I'm like, it's very difficult to speak out something that personal to you, and it's not easy to do. Anyways, folks, never feel like you're a burden to anyone in your lives, and that goes to me as well. I shouldn't feel like I'm a burden to others, but at the same time I just feel like I am a slight burden in some ways. But never feel like that you are a burden. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you all in the next time of Venus Improbable Dream. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.